All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound, and we have a special edition of the Pocket Change Market Report to kick off your week. And as you guys know, this is something new that I've just began doing due to popular demand. Folks actually want to see a Pocket Change Market Report where we talk about actual graded coins. But the real reason why is that folks are genuinely interested in what coins should be graded. Okay, which coins are worthy, which coins are ultimately going to see larger price spikes as a result of grading them. Okay, and I'm happy to say that there are a few qualifying coins that would certainly fill this demand, this need, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there are some coins actually that you can grade and actually enhance the value of it. All right, what a concept. I've always talked a lot. All right, I've been doing the regular Pocket Change Market Report for a few years now. I've always said you don't necessarily have to grade these coins to make the full potential of those coins in a auction setting. You just really don't. But sometimes you eat your own words, and there are a few coins that we're going to talk about today. These are all, I would say, generously from the last 7 days of eBay activity, and these are all what I consider to be the worthy candidates of error coins and varieties that should be graded and have hit a really good stride in the marketplace. And I'm glad to be able to talk about this one with you. So we'll do another one of these in about 2 weeks. So that way we have an appropriate amount of market data to share with you. But let's go ahead and jump right in. Again, these are all original images direct from the seller listings. And you're going to see some of the regulars well represented in here. All right, so the first one that we have here is actually a 1943 Washington quarter. You can see that the coin does exhibit some sort of toning. Although I don't particularly like to talk about toning in these videos, that is yet another way that people can make money off of the coins in this marketplace. Toned coins are performing at a high level these days. Now, the toning you see on this quarter it is not the most attractive. It's very dark, kind of like the mossy greens and some blacks in there to some. It's just way too terminal or just too dark for their tastes. However, this coin is on the list for a completely different reason, and that's going to be a well-known variety. This is a doubled die obverse. It's also FS102 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. By the way, a few of the varieties listed on today's PCMR graded edition aren't going to have close-ups, all right? And that's based off of the original seller listings because the coins are graded and attributed with the variety and error on there. So, you're pretty much taking their word for it. But a lot of the dealers are of the bigger, more established variety on here. If you need more clarification, more information, go ahead and check out sites like doubleddie.com, appropriately named. There's also Variety Vista, which is another good one as well. There's a number of them out there. But if you want close-ups of some of these varieties, go ahead and check out those sites. But there you go. That's your coin right there. This particular one, actually, based off of the original photos, you wouldn't think it's a mid-state 66. But lo and behold, this one is. So, a little word to the wise. If you're going to take photos, make sure you're giving it the best amount of lighting that you can. So that way you could see just how lustrous the coin can be. There you go, FS102 DDO right on the label. Keep in mind, if you're going to send out your varieties and errors, you are going to pay a little bit extra to get the attribution on there. I know with error coins, it's kind of expensive, especially if you're using PCGS. So this particular coin right here was offered at $449.99. Cappy's Coins, the seller, ended up compromising on a best offer of $304.99. And I like to put in the shipping as well. So that's why it's kind of like an odd number, and it's not exactly $300. But there you go. Yeah, that's our first coin highlighted on the graded edition of the PCMR. The next one that we have here is a stunner. I've probably seen only one or two others of this coin. This is a 1996 W, which was only made available in mint sets during that year. But this coin is more notable for other reasons. Check out the clashing on this coin on both sides. It is quite strong and very nice. Now, customarily, I would say clashes, just go ahead and sell them raw. All right, you know, we come across a lot of like Lincoln cents and quarters and other things like that that exhibit strong clashing that, you know, sell really well outside of graded plastic. However, we're talking about a very specific, one-off, very unique coin here with a very low mintage, exhibiting some of the strong clashing on this 96W. Graded. It was worth it, this case. This one right here is a PCGS Mint State 66. You can see clash dies. Again, you do pay extra for the mint error attribution. And our seller for this one is Mullen Coins. Ended up settling for $450. Again, a coin that traditionally would probably end up selling for between $50 and $100 raw. The grading really helped enhance its value in the marketplace, and the pictures, I would say, are okay. Could use a little bit more light on there to help show some of the clashing and the luster, but all in all, this is just a great example of a coin that I would grade 100% of the time. Now, this one's tricky because I've seen a number of these broad strikes sell raw and do actually pretty well. Now, 1999 on this Lincoln cent is a relatively common date for off-center strikes and broad strikes. You know, we've seen them quite a bit. They were discovered in mint-sewn bags when they were released direct from the Federal Reserve Bank. So a lot of people were finding these left and right. However, this one right here is a massive broad strike. It's very centered. To kind of kick the eye appeal up to the next level, you see all of the plating of that copper split out because of the action of this broad strike. And you know, you also have like this funny double kind of profile look, which is normal on most off-center and broad strike errors of the modern era of this composition. Now, this particular coin right here ended up in PCGS Mint State 65 red plastic. It says minor double struck, broad struck. I guess there's a double strike in there. Kind of hard to tell because when you have a massive centered broad strike, things will appear doubled. So I don't know if I completely agree with the double struck designation on here, but that certainly did not hurt the sales. This one sold by Sullivan Numismatics ended up at $214.50, and that's with 24 total bids. I've seen comparable coins sell raw for about $20 to $40 on the open market, and those are some of the more recent sales. Again, it's just a very common date to find this error type. So if that double strike is on there, and it probably is, it just looks like a really wild broad strike. And yeah, you can't really hurt it too much because this is a stunner. Now, this is a beautiful coin right here. 1980 Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one actually is a double struck coin, although it's a double struck in collar, rotated by a good deal, actually, probably about 160 degrees, somewhere around there. But you see a lot of the doubled elements. You can even see the other date right here. Liberty, you can see Trust here as well, and then you have all sorts of nasty stuff going on in the reverse. You have a few letters of cent. You can actually see the memorial rotated as well. Great pictures, by the way, because they are the PCGS TrueView. If you want to invest in the TrueView, that might be a good idea, especially on more higher priced type coins. This particular example was a PCGS Mint State 65 red, and there's your designation, DS for double struck, and rotated in collar. This one ended up selling for $5 1/4 by TM Cases. That's the first time I've seen them here. but they're in SoCal, so that kind of makes sense. There's a lot of coin dealers in the Southern California region of the U.S. The next one that we have here is quite subtle, but I think this is more of a case at, hey, this is an extraordinary key date. 1877 is probably the most expensive Indian head that you'll encounter as far as a regular strike. No errors, nothing like that. But this one right here has apparently a strike through on the obverse. You can tell that some of the areas within Liberty there and the feathers and headdress are quite weakly struck. But keep in mind, this is a key date, one that is worth exponentially more in grades like XF and higher, where you can see a lot more of the design. This one right here, AU53 through PCGS, showing struck through grease obverse mid-air, and some would say they would prefer to have this coin without that kind of mid-error, all right? Unless it was like an off-center 20% type of error, that would greatly enhance the value of that. But regular run-of-the-mill like strike-throughs and laminations on some of these big-time key dates are can be a hindrance, to a productive sale. This one right here ended up selling for $2,195. Sounds about right. I think that's more of the key date, really pushing this one to the next level. Looks like In God We Trust Coins and Currency was the seller of this coin. Beautiful example, by the way. I actually like this one. Okay, well, I was fortunate enough to talk about in this episode both major doubled dies for the 1909 VDB Lincoln set. Now, the coin itself is not particularly rare, especially in mid-state condition. I've picked these things up for between like $30 to $50. You can find them actually in full mid-set red for under $100. But this is where the possibility exists. If you're able to cherry pick either the FS1101 or the FS1102. They are both phenomenal Cherry Picker's Guide varieties. They're both doubled dies, and they are quite valuable in graded plastic, especially when they're straight graded. This one right here, Mid-State 65 Red Brown, is a phenomenal grade for this coin, and this one right here ended up selling for a staggering $710. 44 bids strong. August 20th was the sale date of this one, sometime in the evening hour. But yeah, this is one of two that sold during my watch anyways. Now we're going to talk about it. Again, you guys need clarification, go check out like Double Die, coppercoins.com, and a few other sites that have close-up images of the doubling that you're going to need to pay attention to on these. Now here looks like a coin that was just found in bulk Flying Eagles, all right? For about $15, $20, you can be an owner of a low ball coin. However, when a dealer comes across coins like this, sometimes they just really don't give a care. They'll just throw it in that little miscellaneous bin, and for someone to come in and cherry pick it out of there. This is the 1858 Flying Eagle, by the way, and it is an uncentered broad strike. Yeah, believe it or not, this was probably cherry picked for a very, very cheap cost. There are dealers that don't 100% know what they have, or they just don't care. All right, they just really don't care about some of those minor varieties and errors, and that's where we, as cherry pickers, have a bound duty to go out there and save some of these before they are lost forever. So this one right here ends up being a fine 12 grade. Is nothing to sneeze at through PCGS. It's also sold by one of the bigger error dealers in the world, Sullivan Numismatics. We've seen their name before. So how about taking that coin that you cherry picked for about $20-$30 and turning it into $550, right? Just go ahead and send it into to the grader, and there you go. That's really all you need to do. It couldn't be any more simpler than that. But in order to find these, you do have to get out there and pound the pavement, all right? And there are a lot of people that do it, but there's not nearly enough that do it. Here's another one. Again, this one was actually sold by Sullivan Numismatics, this time in 1863. Indian head cent. This is the white cent, so it's got the copper and the nickel in there. But this one also is broad struck. Beautiful coin, by the way. It's got plenty of meat on the bones, lots of design left to give this one more of an attraction. This one right here is a PCGS VF35, broad struck on the Type 1 planchet, which is that earlier thick white metal. And this one right here ended up going for $325, again from Sullivan, one of the premier error dealers out there. So a really good sale for this one. For the grade, you can't ask for anything more. I think grading this one was a tremendous play. The same coin probably was sold for between $100 and $150 raw. Now here's that other doubled die on the 1909 VDB cent. This is actually the FS1102 this time around, and we have some pretty nice PCGS TrueView images here for this one. So we have a coin that is full red, this time a 65 full red. And you can see the variety attribution right on the label there. And just look at the coin. It looks so much better graded, especially in this condition. So TM Cases, which sold another coin on the list, probably the other Lincoln, ended up letting this one go for $575. Really crazy amount for these coins. Keep in mind that this was cherry picked for under $100. Okay, so someone got a pretty big rip. Don't know if it's TM Cases, but it could just be just about anyone that could do this one pretty well. All right, so the next one that we have here, this one, spoiler, did not straight grade, but it is in a PCGS holder. It's a 1958 Jefferson nickel that was struck on a 1 cent planchet, so it's a copper plan. You can see that the coin is smaller and it's cut off some of the devices on the edge there. Good looking coin. Again, these things can be found out there in the wild, and they have. I've chronicled a number of times where these were actually found. And the coin grades genuine cleaned unk details. Now, we've seen some of these coins sell raw, which is completely fine. This one is a little bit older of a date. I would probably, would have sent this in. We've seen others like from the 70s and 80s that have sold on eBay exclusively, and they were all raw. They weren't graded. But this one right here, even with the details grade, I think is just fine. This one ended up selling for $400 from Small Sword in New York. So pretty good sale there. Oftentimes there's going to be a butt for every seat. And even though this one's been cleaned or something to that effect, it will be bought out because it's a well-known error. Indian head cents getting a lot of love this week. How about this 1902? This coin is actually a stunning example. Very minty. Mid-State 64 brown struck. They said 5% off center. It looks to be a lot more than that. Maybe 10, 12% off center. 5% was not right on par with what I would say is the percentage on this. But there you go. A good-looking coin. I guess close-ups aren't really needed on this one. This one ended up selling for their best offer of $218, and I did add in that $6 standard shipping charge, so it was $212 plus shipping. Vegas Man 37 ended up selling this one. So these coins, I'm kind of like right down the middle. I'm a little indifferent about whether to send these to PCGS or NGC or just sell it the way it is, because again, there's the extra expense of sending these to a grader that you need to take into consideration if you're looking to make money. Here's a 1964 silver Kennedy half dollar. Great variety. This is the doubled die reverse FS801. Final year of the 90% planchets. Now, 1964 you wouldn't consider to be one of like the big dates for varieties. That's best suited for the 64 Denver, believe it or not, which has a bunch of RPMs and just snazzy looking double dies, but this is another good one to look out for here. FS801 is a Cherry Picker's Guide catalog number. So what we're looking at here are the stars, actually. The stars are all stretched out and distorted, which lends very well to this particular double die. Not many people are aware of this particular variety, but there's a little first-hand look of what to look out for. And this one, holy smokes, $525 was the sale price by, let's see, SD Helms is the seller on this one, again, in Southern California. Good looking coin, and who would have thought just a run-of-the-mill 64 Silver Kennedy with this variety would be worth this kind of money? It can be, especially for the higher graded stuff like this one here, worth it all day long. Now we do have a few NGC graded coins before I let you guys go off this video here. So here's another off-metal planchet strike. 1979 nickel struck on a 1 cent plan, weighs about 3 grams. This one is a Mid-State 63 red, and it shows mint error on there as well on the NGC plastic. So NGC is cheaper to use for error attribution. It's just about half the price of PCGS. So make sure you guys know that. It's got a nice red coppery color to it. This one ended up selling for $280. This one is bid up 19 times to this amount, and it was sold by one of my favorite dealers on eBay, South Park Coins, who does a lot of business on the eBay front. Now, there are specific coins that it doesn't matter what it is or what grade, you should grade them anyways, 100% of the time. So these early colonial federal age type coins, they exhibit just some incredible errors. Like this one here, this is a 1787 Fugio colonial copper. This one is the 4 zinc foils version, which is the more common type, and the regular rays as well. You can see the doubling, or the double struck area of this coin. This particular one, graded VF25. You can see the obverse double struck. And second strike is off center. It has the raised rims as well. And this particular one ended up selling through best offer. No, not quite $21,000, but how about $11,000 for this coin? For a non-error in this particular grade, which is a VF25, yeah, that's more likely an $800 coin. But because of the mid-error, it really exponentially raises the roof on this one, if you know what I mean. $11,000 was the final sale of this coin. Now, this one is just neat, all right? They call this a Lincoln struck on a bow tie scrap, which is just a little piece of scrap of metal, you know, a scrap planchet or what have you. And yeah, I mean, it looks good. It looks like a bow tie as well, and that's how it got its namesake. This particular one right here is a Mid-State 64 brown through NGC. So it weighs 0.7 grams, as you can see there on the slab label. This particular coin ended up going for $567.59. This is, by all accounts, a very, very nice looking, do you still call it a coin? Well, yeah, it's still worth, you know, a penny. But yeah, more than likely this was probably found in a mid-sewn bag back in the day. The bow tie scrap struck pieces were pretty commonplace. They do pop up. I see a lot of them sold raw for right around $100. So to see this one sell for this kind of money is quite nice. You know, brings a whole lot of joy to humanity when something can sell for 5 or 6x. That's the big ticket there, and that's what we're aiming for. Here's another off-center struck Indian head cent, this time in 1880. This one's a little worse for the wear. It's seen quite a bit of action there, and in circulation. This one is 15% off center, and that's a lot more believable than the previous one that we looked at. So where this one end up grade-wise? VF20 Brown is where this one is at. Actually, it looks a lot better without the close-ups. So, yeah, there you go. Pretty nice. This one sold for 240 bones by Star 505. That's a new seller right there for me. Haven't seen anything sell from them coin-wise yet. This is the first one, though. More to come. And the last coin on the list is going to be this one. Boy, what a good-looking coin, 19040 Morgan dollar. This one shows rotated dies, and boy, is it rotated. Clockwise, about 140 degrees. And that's really all you need to know. That is a beautiful, major rotated die error. This one is mid-state 63. The coin without the error is right around $100. All right, it's a very common date for Morgans, but yeah, let's see what the error premium adds to this one. How about $565.55? 30 bids on this one, sold by yet another well-known error dealer, M Bar Coins. Has been around for a minute. You can tell just from the feedback score that they are a gauntlet on the scene for sure. I think they've been selling for at least 20 years or more. But yeah, that's pretty incredible. Again, another coin that is a 5-6x multiplier. Just because it is in graded plastic, it helps show the rotated dies better as well, photographically, than say trying to use mirrors and all sorts of other tricks to get it to work. But that's going to go ahead and do it. That's your the graded coin edition of the Pocket Change Market Report. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. A little trip down some of the coins that you might want to consider grading. There you go. All quite major in some aspect. You didn't see any of the low-end stuff or some of the much newer coins on the list. But yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel and this video. If you haven't done so already, I'm also on TikTok at BlueRidgeSilverhound, but that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. You guys take care. Come join us on the live coin Q&A stream tonight. Hope to see you there, and I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.